Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, my name is Carmen. Welcome. One of the biggest questions I've been getting from you guys lately is wanting to know if there's going to be a World War III in the near future. So a lot of you guys are worried about this because a lot of you feel like things are escalating between various countries, and you want to know what the numbers reveal about the future of this. Will there be a World War III in the near future? Numerology reveals the answer to this question. So we're going to take a look at the numerological birth charts of a few very key countries today to find the answer to that. So we're looking at the charts of the United States, Russia, and China. And so by looking at the charts of just these countries, we will be able to determine exactly if there will be a World War III in the near future and when exactly that might happen. Because the numbers reveal a lot. They reveal a lot of information, a lot of hidden information and hidden knowledge that we don't have. And to calculate these charts, I use the birthday of the current regimes in power, as well as the full names of these countries, right? Because when you calculate a chart, you use the full name that is written on the birth certificate. So for the US, I use the United States of America. For Russia, Russian Federation. And for China, People's Republic of China. If you want to calculate any of these numbers yourself, or if you want to calculate your own chart, I will put links below to videos on how to calculate all of these numbers. I'll put it in the description box. And by the way, there's many more numbers in a numerological chart than just this. Many more numbers that I've never even talked about on my channel. I'm just showing you a few to keep things simple today. And before we get into the energies that these countries are currently facing right now, I did want to quickly point out a few things about the United States core chart that I think might be relevant to this video as well. The United States life path number is a 5. So its main purpose for existence is freedom and transformation, because 5 is the number of freedom and transformation. So the US is always going to be transforming. It's always going to be changing. That's never going to stop. And it's always going to be in the process of becoming more free and providing more and more freedom for more and more of its citizens. It might not always seem like that because there's been a lot of struggles and issues dealing with freedom within the country. And that's because this is not only a life path 5, but it's a 14-5. And the 14-5 is a karmic debt number. And that's a karmic debt dealing with freedoms being taken away and learning how to overcome that and maintain your freedom. So freedom will always be a major theme for the US because it is its main purpose. Now, the maturity number of the US is an 8, and the maturity number is who you become as you grow older. And with the 8 energy, we see that 8 is the number of wealth, abundance, and power and prosperity on the positive side of the number. And the US started off as a very poor country without a lot of power, but it became a more powerful, wealthier country as it grew older. So that's the positive side of the 8 energy. The negative side of the 8 energy is the complete opposite, which is poverty and struggle and spending too much, wastefulness, spending what you don't have, and lack of power. And you'll often see that with people with the 8 energy. They're one or the other. They're completely in their power and they're very well off and have a lot of resources, or they're the complete opposite, where they don't have very much at all. They have no resources. They struggle with money. They struggle with personal power. It can go either way. So the US has definitely experienced the positive side of its 8 maturity number. But that's not to say that it hasn't or that it won't experience the negative side of the 8. The loss of power and the loss of resources. And that's even with the US being in a 1 pinnacle too. Pinnacles are like the seasons of your life. And the US is currently in a 1 pinnacle or a 1 season. And 1 is the number of being number 1, right? It's the number of being the leader, the one that comes up on top, right? even though it's in the one energy and it has the one energy to its advantage, it could still lose its power and its resources, financial resources and other resources, because that is the maturity number 8, where it goes either way. As you grow older, you either become more wealthy and more powerful, or you become poor, you struggle, and you lose your power. There's a lot of division within the US and a lot of changes that need to be made on all levels. And if the US doesn't start making some big changes, its maturity number will become the -8, poor and powerless. So that is something to keep in mind. Now, if you want to find out more information about this, you can check out a video that I did where I analyzed the future of the United States. So check out that video if you haven't already. I'll put a link to it below in the description box. So now that you have that background information, let's take a look at the current energies that these countries are experiencing. So if you look at the bottom of the charts, in 2022, the US entered a 22 essence. The essence is basically kind of like the energy that you are experiencing in a given year from the inside out. And it starts and it ends on your birthday. So in 2022, the US was in a master 22 essence. 22 is the energy of rebuilding and restructuring. Old structures coming down and having to be rebuilt for something better, basically. Now, the US was still in the master 22 essence at the beginning of 2023. It's in that 222 essence until July 4th, right? July 4th, 2023, because of it ending on the birthday. So for half of 2023, the US was in the master 22 essence. And we did see that restructuring and rebuilding happening with a lot of banks failing and basically having to be, restructured completely. So with this master 22 essence at the beginning of 2023. Now, on July 4th, 2023, the US will enter a 7 essence, okay? And the 7 energy is basically the energy of retreat, taking some time out for self-reflection and some alone time, basically. So the US is going to be in this 7 essence until July 4th, 2025, basically. Now, not only that, but the US is also in a 9 personal year as well. So the personal year is basically the energy that you experience during a given year from the outward in. And unlike the essence number, this starts at the beginning of the year, the universal year. The US entered the 9 year in January of 2023. And like number 7, 9 can be a very spiritual energy. So I think that 2023 is going to be a very spiritual, self-reflective time for the United States, not only because of the 7 essence and the 9 year, but also because the whole planet is experiencing a 7 universal year in 2023. So you're going to see a lot of spiritual awakening happening within the US because of all this spiritual energy. It's also why you're seeing a lot of, we're seeing a lot of advancements in AI and technology as well. I talked more about this in my predictions for 2023 video, but it's also why the US is seeing so much contraction of the economy and massive amounts of economic contraction in 2023 because of the 7 universal year in combination with the 7 essence as well. And 7 is a very non-materialistic number. So the US is going to see a continuation of the economy contracting throughout the remainder of the 7 essence, which will end in mid-2025 because of this 7 energy. And I did talk more about this economic contraction in my predictions for the year 2023 video, so definitely check that out if you haven't already. But because the US entered a 9 year starting in January 2023, and 9 is a very passionate energy. Okay, it's similar to 6 in that 6 is also a very passionate energy.
But 9 is ruled by the planet Mars, and Mars is a very passionate planet. It's the planet of war. So 9 is one of the war numbers. Like when I'm looking to see if there could be war, I will look for numbers such as 9. Another one will be 6, because 6 is a passionate energy similar to 9. Another number that I look for to indicate war is 5. And 5 can be a very chaotic, transformative kind of energy. So 5, 6, and 9 are the biggest numbers that I look for to predict war. Sometimes master numbers can predict war as well, because big events usually happen during master number energies. But as you can see, the US entered a 9 personal year in January 2023, and 9 being one of the war numbers, it can happen during a 9 year. It is a more action-oriented kind of energy. However, the 7 essence that the US is currently in 2023 is not an action energy. So because of the 7-9 combination, the US could definitely experience some sort of mental war, or a war going on within the mind, right? Mind games being played on the country. Or this could actually be some sort of technological war, right? A war fought through technology. This is the kind of energy where it's like you want to get out and fight. You want to get out and change the world or make a difference in the world, but you feel stuck and you feel like you can't do it because you're kind of stuck in your head. And you don't feel like you have the ability to take the action to do it. And honestly, the 7-9 combination can also indicate an internal war, such as a civil war, a war going on within the country, right? And we do see that the country is very divided. So it could feel like the US is at war with themselves in 2023. Could feel like that, even though it's not actually happening physically. No, war doesn't always happen during 9 years. Like I said, I mean, it's more likely to happen during a 5, 6, or a 9 year, but it doesn't always happen. As you can see, we've been through many 9 years before in the past where that does not happen. So yeah, it doesn't always happen, but in this case, if it did, could be an internal war or a war with another country via technology, or a mental war going on within your mind, but not an actual physical war. And the reason I say that is because if you look at China's chart, in 2022, China entered a 9 essence. So they've been in that very passionate Mars energy since 2022. But it's really going to hit them hard in 2023 because of the 9 essence, and also they're having a 9 personal year as well, like the US. So they're getting double hit by that Mars passionate kind of energy. And 9 being the number of wanting to do something big in the world, going to war with another country is going to have a big effect and impact in the world. So the double 9s that we see here, this is definitely world war energy that China is in the year 2023. But not only that, China's also currently in a 6 pentacle as well. Another possible war number. On one side of the number, you have love. On the opposite side, you have hate. And because of this, I did predict that there would be war in the world in 2022 in my predictions video, since 2022 was a 6 universal year. But honestly, when I look at their chart, when I see the 6 pentacle and the 9 essence that they moved into in 2022, I'm seeing that they already started the war. Okay? The war has already begun. It began in 2022. They are currently at war, no mistake. They started off with getting into preparation mode. That was the beginning of the war for them. Preparing their resources, strengthening their economy, making deals with other countries around the world, right? The 9 and the 8 combination, that totally is like reaching out to other countries around the world and striking up deals with them to strengthen the economy, with them being in the 8 personal year in 2022. And that's what 8 is. It's all about strengthening resources and becoming more powerful. We did see them doing that, right? They were making alliances with Russia and making a lot of money and gaining a lot of power through that alliance. Not to mention the BRICS currency really starting to take off and gain power in 2022. BRICS is the currency that China wants to replace the dollar with as the world's reserve currency. So while the banks were collapsing and the economy crashing in the US in 2022, 2023, the opposite was happening in China, with them entering a war, starting off with preparation mode and really going into overdrive in the year 2023 because of the double nines. Now we've moved beyond preparation mode in 2023. You might see them move this forward to where it's not so much of a silent war anymore. I think that could happen with the acquisition of Taiwan. I really do see, based on these numbers, I would say they're going to go for it. They're going to try to take Taiwan. Like, we know that Taiwan is a country that they have wanted to take for a while. It's something they're very passionate about. And now they're going to be acting upon that with being in this double nine energy. This could also happen in 2024 as well. Okay, so if it doesn't happen in 2023, make no mistake, it could definitely happen in 2024, with it still being in a 9 essence, but having a 1 personal year, and 1 being the number of new beginnings, right? So new beginning with Taiwan now being a part of China. But because the US is in a 7 essence in 2023 and 2024, a non-action type of energy, I see this move on China's part of them taking over Taiwan. I see this as being them doing it through legal methods. So trying to use the law to incorporate them. Okay, that's what they did with Hong Kong in the past. They found legalities and loopholes within the law. So I see them as doing that, using the law to take over Taiwan rather than sending troops on the ground the way Russia did with Ukraine. Now, that could definitely contribute to a world war, right, where multiple countries are involved, but also more of a modern type of war where, like I was saying, there's not actual physical fighting, but now there's fighting through technology and through mind games and that kind of thing because of China doing that and making that move. This is going to be a war that continues with China throughout these next 3 years, that basically has already started, even if we're not aware of it. And I do feel like by looking at the numbers, I would say Russia is definitely going to get involved in this, for sure. I mean, if you take a look, Russia entered a master number 11 essence in 2022, okay? As I had mentioned, big events often happen during master number years. And, in 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine. And in 2023, still in the 11 essence, and the war is still continuing. But the only difference is in 2023, Russia is getting stronger. Right? We see that because of the 8 personal year that they're experiencing. So Russia's economy will get stronger, probably because of the alliance that they made with China, right? We know that they made an alliance with China. So we see their economy getting stronger in the year 2023 and possibly winning part of the war that they are currently in with Ukraine. That is a possibility because of it being an 8 year and an 11 essence. I do feel like, and I did a video about this. I did do a video about this, so you can check it out if you want. I'll put a link to it below. I do feel like in the end, after all is said and done, eventually Ukraine will get their independence and they will, they will get their sovereignty. But I did mention in that video that we could see Russia winning in the beginning, right? Or initially taking over Ukraine, or at least part of Ukraine. Or reach some sort of a compromise with them in which they're in a higher position of power and they have more than they did before they started the war. Okay. Russia's resources are getting strengthened this year in 2023, and their economy is getting strengthened. Even if we do not see this happening, even if we're not aware of it, make no mistake, it is happening, and most likely through the alliance that they have started with China, as well as an alliance they've made with other countries. Now, in terms of their involvement in a world war, I think they are already involved. I see that in 2022 with them invading Ukraine. As you can see, they were in 11 essence. They started the whole thing with that one action. And China saw them doing this, and it motivated them to start preparing and to eventually take their action, which will be to take over Taiwan. Russia's going to continue to be involved in any sort of world war with the 11 essence in 2022 and 2023, and a 9 essence and a 9 personal year in 2024. So double 9 energy. So they're definitely going to be involved, and definitely something is coming to an end for them as well. Okay, because 9 is the last number. We often see endings. But while the US is retreating during these years because of the 7 essence, you're going to see these other countries moving forward in the world and gaining more power in the world and gaining more finances or resources. So I do see World War III type energies within the charts of these 3 countries. But like I said, this might not be your typical world war that we are used to seeing. It could be a more modern war fought through technology or through the mind or through the finances and currencies, right? It could be that type of war as well. Can we prevent a World War III from happening or stop one that might be currently happening, whether it be physical or non-physical? Of course we can always prevent it. We can always do that through our free will. All numbers have a positive and a negative side. We don't have to experience the negative side of a number for any given year. We can choose to experience the positive side and the positive energy of that number. And we do that through either praying or asking the universe to help and bring positive energy onto the planet. And we do that through sending positive energy and love towards the planet and places that are in need. We do that through healing ourselves, right? Working on ourselves. If you become a more peaceful person on the inside, you will see a more peaceful world around you, believe it or not. So there are various ways that we can prevent any sort of war from happening, and we always have the free will to do that. And yes, I encourage all of my viewers, if you've gotten this far into the video, definitely do that. Send positive healing energy out into the world and onto the planet because it's needed right now. Leave a comment below and let me know in the comments what you think will happen in the future in regards to these 3 countries. And if you like this video, hit the like button and share it with other people because it helps to get this information out there when you do that. And I do spend a lot of time putting these videos together, and they are a monster for me to make. So thank you for your support. Also, if you want to book a personal reading with me so that we can go over the numbers in your chart and see what is headed for you in the future, then you can head on over to my website, StarsAlignWithCarmen.com. And I would love to have you subscribe if you haven't already and to become part of this family. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Thanks for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.